Welcome. Today we're revealing a elegant and timeless kitchen transformation of this mid-century modern kitchen. The design draws from the minimalistic forms and colors of the 1950s and 60s. Let's walk through each element to see how we brought this look to life. Starting off with the cabinetry, we went with Decora custom cabinets and we used a slab door style and walnut finishes. The walnut itself is very natural, it has a lot of character to it, so it allowed us to go with a really sleek and clean door. For the countertops, we used two different stones here. We wanted to give the look of a very simple, minimalistic look so that we could let the actual architecture shine. And we used a soapstone imitation silestone quartz for the perimeter. That's a nice dark stone. It contrasts very nicely with the wood cabinets. And then on the island, we wanted to brighten things up a little bit. So we went with a Italian marble inspired quartz countertop that we got from MSI. For the backsplash, we wanted to bring in some more natural features in there, so we went with this beautiful handmade Moroccan Zalige tile. It has different tones of gray and beiges throughout it, and it has a lot of natural imperfections, which is what makes it so nice. We also want to feature something that's a little bit more different than your classic Zalige tile that's just typically a square tile. We went with a more octagonal shape, and then we have these little terracotta squares in between them. Again, just really letting the geometrical shapes that were present in the 50s and 60s tie into the rest of the kitchen. In a kitchen, lighting is extremely crucial, so we wanted to make sure we had plenty of it. In general, this is a darker space, so we were like, what can we do to make up for the lighting? Not only did we incorporate recessed lights, but we also incorporated a lot of decorative lights and things that will bring ambiance to the space. So we have an incredible mid-century pendant above the dining table, and then we also have these insane walnut pendant lights that had just come out that week, so I think it was actually created specifically for this renovation. And we also have another little brass touch above the floating shelves, again just bringing in some warmth, balancing out those cool tones throughout. It was really important that we kept not only with the mid-century modern style of the home, but also kept some of the character, because we did such a grand renovation, as you can see from, you know, the previous shoot before we started the actual construction phase. So we did keep the radio and the built-in wall oven control panel to pay homage to the older version of the home. The star of this kitchen is the custom color green aga range. It had, again, literally just come out, perfect timing for this kitchen, and Julie had brought the sample over to me and we were like, that's it, that's going to be the range. It just shines throughout the whole kitchen space. It's the star of the show. She's a diva. It's an induction 48-inch range, and it has all the features that a chef would want in their kitchen. We couldn't just let the aga sit by itself. We built an incredible walnut custom hood above it that took a lot of craftsmanship. Although it's so streamlined and clean and simple, you wouldn't believe the amount of effort it took to get it there. Some of the final touches in this kitchen were some of the toughest decisions. So we added in these green beams. Originally they were supposed to be wood, but once we put them in, I was like, let's just go green. And then we decided to also go green on the wood trim by the sink. And I think it really just ties in those green tones, earthy, natural. We also played with those tones in their bathrooms as well, so it keeps the whole house cohesive. Not only did we want to make this kitchen beautiful, but we also wanted to make it functional as well. So we have great storage and hidden storage throughout the whole thing to make it a little bit more functional. So you have everything that you could want in a kitchen. We have tray dividers, utensil pullouts, spice racks, organization for a pantry that we're limited on. So basically anything that a kitchen or a cook could want to make this kitchen enjoyable, we have it here. We hope you enjoyed this tour as much as we enjoyed creating it. Now we'd like to show you how a true chef can use this kitchen. Let's cook. I'm gonna get started with bread and butter for the table. And then we will work our way into what's on the menu.
Basil vinegar dressing mixed salad we're starting, and then after we have the filet mignon with roasted vegetables and mashed potatoes, and then I have the special dessert for it.
I feel like we, for a while, were putting off the kitchen because it was so intimidating, especially with 2 young kids, to be able to take out essentially the heart of the house out of commission for a little while. So we were a little intimidated, but it just became more and more apparent that it was a necessary project. It just, the kitchen hadn't been changed since essentially 1959. Except for the addition of a more updated oven from probably the 90s. And it was struggling, we were struggling to cook all our meals and keep up with the household. Like for instance, the range was a specific thing we looked upon. They just released the color 3 days before we were going to order another design. And so we felt like that came together well, and then just waiting to make sure we had the right cabinets and stuff like that, and that was important to us. But when it came down to actually ripping down to the studs and putting everything in, it was amazing when we would walk in at the end of the day and see the progress. And so you can do it with 2 small kids. We're proof. And now we're thrilled to have a kitchen that we love cooking in. And
my favorite part of the kitchen was that the area over near is definitely the range, but then also that part of the kitchen, I couldn't even conceptualize what it would look like because that was a half bath and it was all walled in, and there's the door to the garage was where the range is now, sort of. So even when we were doing the design, you know, I'm not a designer, and so we were doing the designs and thinking about it, it's hard, like in your mind to figure out, oh, what is this gonna look like? And then when we started, you know, we talked about it and having trust in the process and knowing what it looked like and saying, like, oh, okay, well the range needs to be like a 48-inch because of the space that's going to be opened here. Like seeing it on the paper, you're like, oh, it's a, you know, here's the design, it's all a big box. And then you're looking at it and you had such an appreciation for what the space is, right? That it was like, oh, no, you're going to want this, right? And so then we start looking at it, and then the walls start coming down and looking at everything, and you're like, wow, there's so much space here. And then now, of course, it's just like, of course it has to be, right? And it's just such a center point of the whole kitchen. I love cooking on it. And the ability to move the door from where the garage was over there to over there just rebalances the whole room. But yeah, that whole area is my favorite part. and you go into a bathroom that's kind of gross, like that just like makes your whole life, you know, like it just brings you down. So we knew we needed to do that first. So we did that, and then we were gonna wait and sort of like marshal, save up our money, and then do the kitchen. But then my parents were like, my dad was like, you know, what do you have to, when are you guys going to renovate this guest room bathroom? And it was like, where's the guest room bathroom on our list? Like project number like 150, you know, like, because you don't want your guests to be that comfortable either, right? Like you want them to leave eventually. And so that was one of those things, and I was like, look, it doesn't make any sense to do just that guest bathroom, but it is below the kitchen, so if we want to talk about doing everything, we can talk about it, you know?
This is medium rare. I made it mashed potato, fresh mashed potato. I made it roasted vegetable, baby zucchini, baby carrot, some butternut squash, and then asparagus. Also, I made it demi-glace sauce, and then yesterday I made it at home myself. It's not ready, homemade it.
That is
I hope enjoy it. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been such an incredible journey. It's a little bit more unique from what we usually do, but we want to show you the true functionality of the kitchen with bringing a chef in here. We hope to see you on the next one.